owner of HogOn Welding LLC and the founder of HogOn University. And I wanted to talk to you today about the black welder who led by example, which is myself. When it comes to encouraging people or trying to reach a goal or living to be remembered or just doing what you say you're going to do, I believe I have done it up to this point and I am doing it. And the best way to do it is to do it by example. Being in the field showed me what I could actually do once I possess the right knowledge and the right information. And I always say field welding isn't shop welding because I learned that I found my freedom in the field. And it's ironic that I found my freedom in the field, me being from Southeast Arkansas, born in Little Rock, being raised in the cotton field. I literally went out there and chopped cotton before I was 12 years old. That's how I was getting my school money. I was going out in the fields. And it's ironic that it was the field that actually set me free. Being in the field, understanding work ethics and understanding employment, self-employment, LLC, corporation. And now I'm back in my home state and I'm actually having to reinvent myself, so to speak. Starting all over from a different perspective, but I wanted to introduce myself as someone who has led by example. The things that I learned, I like to actually do. And sometimes, in life, man, we get things happen where you have to go back to the drawing board, so to speak. And it's okay because people need to know that sometimes there's going to be mistakes, sometimes it's going to be error. Business is not guaranteed, but the only thing that is guaranteed is that you never give up. If you never give up, you will succeed. I heard a guy say one time, they praise me now for the 99 time, for the one time I made it, but nobody was there when I failed 99 times. So sometimes those climbs of how a person got there, the A, you got the A, then the Z, but all in between of the alphabet you don't have. But if you will go back on my archives, you can see how I started, how I got one machine, how I traveled here, how I invested in this, how I did this, how I did that. And it was all things that I spoke into existence. But not only did I speak it into existence, I actually put some work ethics behind it. So anything that you really want in life, you're going to have to do some work behind it. And this is Black History Month. And I wanted to highlight a few black men who had fallen that has really, really been inspirations in my life. As far as the knowledge they provided, how they helped, what they survived, and what they stood for. And it seems that every famous black leader or known for the things that they done, they all had a famous quote or a few famous quotes, that they live by. So I wanted to give you a few of these because I really think that it's important for us to know where we come from and what my approach is with my channel, to be completely independent, but not just being independent where I'm solely dependent on others for income, but being able to produce products that actually can help someone, services that actually can help someone, like welding courses and classes, prints, different things that could actually help a person elevate. So my goal was to say, hey man, what do I want to do? And I kept my focus on independence the whole time. But sometimes I heard a guy say that your goal never changed, but how you get to it may change. You might have to switch up the direction. You know what I mean? Things happen sometimes. It can be a nice shiny day outside and then it starts storming. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected. And sometimes the only way to do that is to keep in mind why you are doing what you're doing, because if you don't, that can be the first thing that can actually discourage you from staying focused. Because a lot of times when you have a righteous mission starting out, you're not going to have a big fan base. You're not going to have a lot of publicity. It's not going to be a lot of people can't wait to write you or can't wait to send you products or can't wait to promote what you do. It's not going to be like that all the time. It's most of the people that has survived, especially coming from our culture, had to go through some dark hours, hours where no one knew them, hours where they didn't even think they was going to survive. So I want to share a couple of these with you today, and I got them saved in my phone. And I wanted to share this with you because I believe that these things, like I say, is something that I believe that can inspire you. These are some sayings that literally helped me. I mean, like some people that really inspired me. So I want to share this with you. So the first person is Dr. King, and here go one of his quotes. And I don't know if you know this one or not, but I want to share it with you. Dr. King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Only light." Realistically, in life, we understand that there's never a nighttime and a daytime that exists at the same time. They don't coexist. You have eclipses, but it never coexists because once the light comes, darkness has to flee. And that's something that I had to embrace as far as knowing who you are, knowing your relationship with God, having a spiritual relationship. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual, and I have a relationship with God. And I believe that that's a connection because once you start knowing that you just didn't poof and be here, that there's a life cycle, that's energy that we was meant to live forever in this body or in another. But we have to understand things about life, and knowing the darkness and the light from Dr. King really inspired me in what he did with his movement by having a non-violent movement, but still being able to get his point across. Even though at the end he said he felt that he led his people into a burning house. Because just because we can say, "Oh, I can shop in their stores," it's not a white door and a black door anymore. But we don't have any finances. We didn't get our 40 acres in the mule. We didn't get our land. So it's kind of hard for us to have financial independence in America. And that's what he understood. And once, in my personal opinion, once he started going back to rectify that, he ended up being no longer with us. My next quote is by Marcus Garvey. For those who are familiar with Marcus Garvey, love Marcus Garvey. He said, "Take advantage of every opportunity. Where there is none, make it for yourself." And that part of that quote is where HogOn was birthed from, because the root meaning of HogOn is hustle over grounded obstacles naturally. Because we're going to go through stuff, family. We're going to experience things in life, family, that it's going to be there. And you're going to have to figure out a way to get over that mountain, get through that mountain, or get around that mountain. But it is what it is sometimes in life, and you have to just accept it. And the things that comes your way, we have to learn not to just get bitter about it, but to get better about it. You know what I mean? Use that information to actually grow. And Marcus Garvey did that with building institutions to help us have tradesmanship, help us have some financial independence when it came to being able to have something to offer the economy, to build our own economy, to have our own system. And that's where the education comes, me building independence, helping people actually gain some education and knowing how big it is, how you can change your life once you get that financial independence to be able to do something for yourself. It's great when you can build something from nothing, family. So Marcus Garvey has always been top of my list. The next quote is from Malcolm X. Malcolm X, man, I can say so much about this brother. But one thing about X, he went through a troubled life before he found himself. And he said something that really opened my eyes, because education is the key. I always say knowledge is power. And this is what Malcolm said. Malcolm said, "Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for today." So if we prepare now, and I'm always saying proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, because if we prepare now, things will be better. And yes, I know at times we're gonna hit stumbling blocks. Things gonna get hard. And you're gonna be like, man, I don't wanna, I don't wanna do this no more. You know what I mean? But we have to continue to remember where we came from, and knowing that the education is going to be our way to get to where we're going. Once we know better, family, we can do better. But until we get some more better information, it's going to be hard for us to get out the situation that we're in. Booker T. Washington, one of my favorite guys. One of his books that I really love, and those who haven't got a chance to read any of these black leaders' books, check out Up From Slavery. Up From Slavery really helped me when I was in prison. There was some information in there that really helped me rise up myself. Another gentleman who educated himself, who built schools, who understood tradesmanship, who understood that we had to have our own and we had to be taught by our own. You know what I mean? And one thing that he said, he said, if you want to lift yourself up, you have to lift someone else. If you want to lift yourself up, you have to lift someone else up. That's why I love doing what I'm doing with HogOn Welding. I love lifting other people up, seeing other people achieve what they put their mind to, actually learn the trade, or just motivating them to do something, to be independent, or to build a product, to just motivate someone to do something that's in them, that they always thought like, man, I'm afraid, but to go and jump out there. And it was all about the example. So I think that if you're going to get yourself in a position to be uplifted, you have to lift up someone else. And you have to do it genuinely. You have to do it from your heart. I did a video talking about the OGs in 2022. Now I think it means for organic guidance. Are you giving some organic guidance, something from the heart? Are you really helping someone without anything attached to it? Yeah, I help you if I can get 20%. Yeah, I help you if I can get 30%. You know what I'm saying? Some people are always trying to get something without just helping. And I believe that, yeah, we know that it takes money to make money, but it don't cost you anything to give a person some good advice. It don't cost you anything to give a person some upliftment. It don't cost you anything just to be a good person. You know what I mean? It don't cost you anything to do that. So, sometimes I believe we go out the way, we go way for beyond making it something that's small, bigger than what it is. So I just wanted to say, if you want to uplift someone, or you want to uplift yourself, uplift someone else. Help someone else reach to a level that they want to get to. And even though we know that the odds don't look good, you might help 10 and only one come back, but that's okay. If you help 100, you got 10 loyal friends. If you help 1,000, you got 100 loyal friends. So the goal is just to keep doing it, and don't do it in focusing on the numbers, because the numbers ain't gonna make sense. Eventually, there'll be so many, you'll be like, man, where are these numbers coming from? But starting out, don't worry about that. Just worry about your goal, your mission is to uplift someone, is to help someone. And as long as you do that, you'll be okay, family. So last but not least, I want to talk about Nelson Mandela. Oh man, the man survived a lot of time in prison. And during my decade, I did a decade from 16 to 26, and during that time, knowing his story, knowing his survival, knowing what he did, his rise, it blew my mind, family, because I read a scripture in Ecclesiastes that says, "For out of prison he will come to reign." And I remember reading that, and I just hold on to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna do something, and reign me to have power. I'm gonna do something good. And this man got out of prison and became the president of his country. Man, you can't, family, you know what I mean? God bless his soul, rest in love. This guy, man, what he did was amazing. And he said something, family, before I let y'all go, that I want to say this quote because it's something that it echoes in my mind. He said, "It always seemed impossible until it's done." He said, "It always seemed impossible until it's done." See, when you're going through what you're going through, family, when we're building our independence, when we're raising our kids, when we're trying to pull ourselves up out of a situation, it's going to always seem impossible. I got some situations in my life now that seem impossible, but I'm knowing as long as I keep at it, the door is going to open. And that's one thing we have to embrace. That's one thing that I want to do personally, as far as lead by example, be a welder who can actually stand on exactly what I say. I really want to help the youth. I want to help educate the older. I want to help educate my peers. I want to be able to really help someone change their lives. And when people come in, like for instance, today I'm actually putting some pieces together. So, the goal is if I show you something, I should be able to do it. So when people come in, I want them to see what it looks like to do a bead plate. When you do this plate, and this is, a good bead plate to pass, just like the poster. You want to know what it is to do a buck joint. You want to know what the penetration. You don't want to show them, hey, this is what you're looking for. You want 100% penetration when you're taking the test. You want to show them the lap joint. This is what you're looking for when you tie in. Kind of bead you want. Showing a consistent bead. You want to be able to show them two different kinds of T-joints. Here go a T-joint. And here go when you're pushing it and tying in. So I want to be able to give a person an example. That way, while they're training, they can look and say, this is what I'm looking to. This is what I'm trying to get to. Not just looking at the photo, because they got the photo up here. Yeah. But what about you, instructor? See, a lot of instructors or a lot of teachers teach people things that they actually can't do. You go to college. A lot of people that teach business don't even have businesses, but they're going to teach you business. So I think that some things are just practical to learn from someone that's actually doing it. If I want to learn a good business, I want to sit under someone that actually owns a few businesses, that's doing something, so I can figure out something. And for my brothers that's coming into the welding, for those who looking for someone that looks like them, that's not watered down, that's not trying to tell them to go along with the system, but to be them, to use the system to build their independence. That's what I'm going to tell you. Because when I started building my channel, when I started searching, it seemed like all the brothers was pointing me right back to the man. And I'm very, conscious when it comes to my culture. And I'm knowing that we've been dependent on the man, and he's been controlling us since we got off the boat. And there got to be a time where we got to say, hey, I'm going to build my own. And I'm okay with networking with you. I'm okay with helping you. But I want to build something for myself, and I want to build something for my people, and I want to see them thrive like other nationalities do. And no one has an issue with that. But it seems like when someone black say, hey, I want to do something for my people, I want to help my people, I want to teach them how to be black welders, it's like people get offended. And it always blows my mind, because a lot of times it just be people who was raised by the system, and I realize we're in America. And we are Americanized. So until you start deprogramming yourself on learning more information on where you come from, why we do certain things that we do, it's going to be hard for you to actually break those chains of America, because a lot of our people are still in chains. We might be free, but we still bound in chain. So we have to do some real research to learn more. So that's why I'll always get posts on Black History Month. I'm always saying Black History 65. I'm always giving information, because none of this information was provided for me. All of this I had to do research for, and I still do research. There's things that I want my kids to know, so I keep it in rotation so that they can see it and they can learn more and they can be more hungry or to do more things, because I want them to be creators. I want them to be people who can actually stand on their word and love their fellow man, you know what I mean? And to help the humanity as a whole. But you got to start at home first, family. So that's why I say I'm a black welder who leads by example, because everything that I talk about, I'm about. You know what I mean? So, I'm not watered down. It's kind of hard to be, you know what I mean, coming from where I'm from. And for me, and during this time and being in prison and having that type of situation, it just makes me a little bit more cautious when it comes to dealing with people. I guess you could say I'm bold or blunt, in certain areas. My wife said I can be a little too honest. At times I can be a little too good. But, if I feel a certain way, I just like this, I'm going to say how I feel. But when it comes to education, when it comes to helping, when it comes to passing down the knowledge, being able to make it easy. See, I heard this one time. A person who is wise, a person who is wise will make things so simple that even a child can understand it. But a person who want to pretend that they're wise or that they're smart, they will try to come across to make things complicated, to make it seem like you got to do a whole lot to get certain things done. So sometimes words can be puffed up and you can hear things like, oh, that sounds real nice. But how do you do it? You know what I'm saying? So I like to just lead by example and just keep it simple. So that's why with my channel, you know what I mean, my goal is to help as many people as I can. Yesterday, ironically, let me sit these down. Yesterday, ironically, I had my uncle in here. And I'm in here teaching my uncle how to weld. Ain't that a blessing? And you know the crazy thing about that? I got to be honest with you and share the story with you. You know the crazy thing about that? There was a time in my life where I was looking for, literally family, before I went to prison, I was looking for guidance, like, you know, just looking up to different people. And I remember going to my uncle at a time, just looking for some guidance, you know, and didn't get any. And at the time, you know, I kind of got mad about it, you know, I kind of got a little bitter about it at that time, because I was young. I was like, man, you know, I would think that my uncle will want to show me some love or want to give me some, you know, some guidance, you know, but I didn't get it. And later I just said, forget it. You know, I end up looking up to some other people. And then now I'm being able to, the tables are turned where I can be able to give him some information and to help teach him how to weld. And he got a daughter now that is younger than my daughter. So, you know, I could be able to help him take care of her by some of the information I give him if he used the welding skills to help provide for himself, for his family. So there's no reason for me to say, oh man, I remember when I came to you for some guidance and you didn't guide me, you know. But that ain't how we break the chains, family. You know, that ain't how we break the curses, you know. You remember what is done. And you remember because you use that to know what not to do to someone else. So when I got my opportunity to actually help him, and you know, it was more of an excitement. You know, I'm enthused to help him. You know, to know that I actually went away and came back with something that I could help him build and take care of his family. So, you know, it's humbling now. Being back in my hometown has been humbling because, you know, you don't know certain things until you actually know certain things. That makes sense. So being back, you know, I can honestly say that I have lost respect for a lot of people that I had respect for at first from a distance. And then then you really see, you know, the true nature of a person. And, you know, I would rather, you know, just deal with people authentically. You know what I mean? I'm not about games. If I say something, I stand on it, or I won't say it at all. So that's why, you know, my goal is to lead by example with building this, building the garage, building the school, building my mom's house, you know, renovating. And then my goal is to use what I got first, get started and get things going. But I'm not going out trying to motivate people I know to help with the movement, because, you know, it was even written that a prophet won't be accepted in his own home. A person who has a gift, sometimes people are always reminded of, oh, I know him. He used to be this person. And they always remember who you was and not who you became. So sometimes that can hinder them from receiving what you have to offer because they can only remember who you was. So that's why, you know, I believe that Christ did more when he left. He touched a lot of people, a lot of Gentiles, a lot of people outside of his area, of his home, because people was watching his examples, you know, seeing what he did. It was like, yeah, he from so and so, but I witnessed the word. I felt it. I got something from it. I seen what he did. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, me being back home is kind of the same way. But I'm still helping people though, and I think that over time things are going to open up, but you have to do things differently. And I'm in Arkansas, family, so the good old boy system does exist. It's 2022, family, but it still exists. You know what I mean? The good old boy system still exists. So, there's ways I have to operate and network. You know what I mean? So, once you see the system, you see what's going on, you just figure out your way to make things happen. So, like I say, my goal is to lead by example. I know what needs to be done. I know what got to be done in my personal life, in my family life. And at times, you get to that point in life where you feel like, man, what direction do I go in? And that's when you have to remember, why are you doing it, family? Why are you doing it? So I just wanted to say that my goal is to lead by example with HogOn. It's to hustle over grounded obstacles naturally. It's to honor my generation, ornamental nature, to be able to keep in remembrance those of my ancestors who went before us, those who died, those who gave their lives, those who sacrificed, so that way we can be able to do some better things. And I just want to give back that way. To me, I think life will be meaninglessness will have no meaning if I don't give some of me back. Like if I don't really help someone. So once I'm gone and I'm knowing that my movement is still in rotation, people are still, using information and skills to help and uplift someone else, man, I feel like I did my part. You know what I mean? So sometimes you get to a point where you realize that being selfish isn't going to open up no doors for you. You know what I mean? So my goal is to help as many people I can with my existence. You know what I mean? And I enjoy doing it. I really get a kick out of it. I really do. And so while I'm here in my hometown, like I say, my goal is to travel, be here, parts of the year and be somewhere else the other part. But right now I'm here. So, I'm just trying to get some things off the ground. And I'm doing what I can while I can. So I'm not going to use anything to say I can't do nothing. I have been working on a book. I kind of got stagnated on that. I was trying to go through some people to get some things done. It didn't work out the way I wanted to work out, so I got to go a different route. But that's something actually that I literally had to go back and say, hey man, I got to go on and get this done for myself, because I was trying to go certain things, family. You might not do it the correct way sometimes if you do it for yourself, but you'll still get that same reward. Because when you do it again, you're like, man, I learned so much from that experience because I was trying to put other people involved. Sometimes you have to put your life, because it is your life, in your own hands, you know what I mean? And really do things for yourself. So I just wanted to say, man, my goal is to lead by example, to give people organic guidance, to be able to live, to be remembered by, the examples. If I teach them, like I say, I really enjoy it. And, me being back home now is humbling. So for those who are in the area in Arkansas or surrounding and want to get some independent teaching, some classes, some tutoring, hey, I'm available. I'm in Arkansas now. So visit the website, www.HogOn That's www.HogOn All social media sites is HogOn, from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything is HogOn Welding. So I appreciate y'all from checking in. Like I say, just wanted to give you a few quotes and some information about who I am and what my approach is, and just a few things that I learned, you know what I mean? And I feel like we have to stay conscious of who we are. We have to be who we are, even if the crowd is going one way. We got to remember that narrow is the way to righteousness and broad is the way to destruction. Y'all be blessed, family. Hold on.